Will Donald Trump's second-term economic strategy lead America into a golden era of domestic manufacturing and prosperity, or send the country spiraling into inflation, trade wars, and recession? Since retaking office in 2025, Trump has reignited his signature America First approach, starting with a sweeping wave of tariffs on foreign goods. His promise is simple: protect American jobs, punish unfair trade partners, and rebuild the U.S. economy from within. But in a world more interconnected than ever, can protectionism truly deliver long-term prosperity? Or is this economic experiment headed for disaster? Let's break it all down. What are Trump's tariffs? First, let's get clear on what these tariffs are. Shortly after re-entering office, Trump signed an executive order imposing a universal 10% tariff on nearly all imported goods entering the United States. On top of that, countries with large trade surpluses, like China, Germany, South Korea, and Mexico, were hit with even higher penalties, some reaching up to 35%. These aren't targeted tariffs aimed at specific industries like in his first term. These are across-the-board taxes on everything from steel and electronics to clothing, food, and automobiles. Trump claims this move is about leveling the playing field, fixing trade imbalances, and encouraging companies to manufacture in the U.S. But critics say it's an outdated solution for a modern economy. The immediate economic impact. Almost instantly, Trump's tariffs began rippling through the economy. Prices are rising. Consumers are now paying more for everyday items. The cost of cars has jumped by an average of $3,000. Appliances, laptops, and smartphones are all more expensive. Even food imported from overseas, like coffee, bananas, and cheese, has seen price hikes. Businesses are feeling the squeeze. Many rely on imported parts to make their products. Now their costs are up, forcing them to either raise prices or absorb losses. Some have laid off workers or delayed expansion. Global retaliation has begun. Countries hit by Trump's tariffs have fought back with their own, targeting U.S. exports like soybeans, beef, whiskey, and industrial machinery. American farmers, already vulnerable from past trade battles, are once again stuck in the crossfire. The result? A spike in inflation, supply chain disruptions, and increasing tensions with trade partners. Are American jobs coming back? Trump has long argued that tariffs would bring back American jobs. And in some cases, he's not wrong. Certain industries, especially in steel, aluminum, and textiles, have seen a modest resurgence. Some factories have reopened. Others have announced plans to expand domestic production. But here's the catch. Many of these new factories are using automation, not human labor. Companies are investing in machines that require fewer employees, especially in high-cost states. So, yes, production is increasing, but job creation is lagging behind. Meanwhile, small and mid-sized businesses are struggling. They can't afford automation. They can't easily relocate supply chains. They're caught between higher import costs and dwindling demand. Some are closing altogether. So while the headlines might boast about Made in America making a comeback, the average worker may not be feeling it in their paycheck just yet. The bigger economic picture. So how is the broader economy reacting to Trump's tariff policies? As of mid-2025, GDP growth has slowed to around 1.8%, down from over 3% in 2023. Inflation is hovering near 5%, driven by rising import prices and retaliatory measures. Unemployment remains low, around 4.2%, but job growth is decelerating. Consumer confidence has declined, especially among middle and working-class households. Certain sectors, like construction and defense, are still thriving, partly due to government contracts and infrastructure spending. But others, like tech, retail, and agriculture, are under pressure. The U.S. economy isn't collapsing, but it's walking a tightrope between recovery and recession. And with global uncertainty growing, investors are nervous. Winners and losers in Trump's tariff economy. Let's take a closer look at who's winning and who's losing under this policy shift. Winners: U.S.-based manufacturers in protected industries like steel and aluminum. certain logistics and construction firms benefiting from Buy American mandates, multinational corporations that had already diversified their supply chains, trade lawyers and consultants who are now essential to navigate the chaotic regulatory environment. Losers, consumers, especially those on fixed incomes, who are paying more for basics. Farmers, who have lost major export markets due to retaliatory tariffs. Small businesses, who can't absorb higher costs or pivot quickly. Retail giants and e-commerce companies, whose low-margin business models rely on cheap imports. There's a clear divide. The policy protects some domestic industries while leaving others behind. It's not a rising tide that lifts all boats. It's a realignment with collateral damage. Trade partners and global backlash. Beyond the US borders, Trump's tariffs have triggered a wave of international backlash. Countries like China, Germany, and Brazil have retaliated with tariffs of their own. Some have filed complaints with the World Trade Organization. Others have shifted trade away from the US entirely, looking to new partners in Europe and Asia. In response, the European Union has strengthened trade ties with Japan and South Korea. China has expanded trade agreements in Africa and Latin America. And Mexico and Canada, both hit hard by US tariffs, are seeking deals with Asian markets. The US is no longer the central hub of global trade. It's becoming a wild card, seen as unpredictable and transactional. This could have lasting consequences. If countries stop trusting American trade policy, they'll stop investing in US markets. And once that trust is gone, it's hard to rebuild. Is economic nationalism sustainable? Trump's economic nationalism taps into a powerful narrative, one that says the global system is rigged and it's time to protect American workers. That idea resonates with millions, but is it sustainable? Tariffs can work in short bursts, especially when used as bargaining tools. But when they become permanent policy, they risk backfiring. Higher prices lead to reduced consumption. Trade wars reduce export demand. And over time, inflation eats away at wage gains. In a world where supply chains are global, no country, not even the United States, can afford to go it alone without consequence. Economic experts warn that isolationism invites inefficiency. It limits innovation, reduces consumer choice, and makes the country more vulnerable to shocks, whether from pandemics, wars, or climate disasters. Could it still work with the right strategy? That said, Trump's approach isn't doomed to fail if it's part of a broader, smarter strategy. If paired with the workforce reskilling programs, massive investment in infrastructure and technology, support for small manufacturers, and carefully negotiated trade deals, then economic nationalism could lead to a more balanced, self-reliant economy. But so far, those complementary policies are missing. There's little investment in education or retraining. Trade deals have stalled. And instead of long-term planning, most decisions are reactive. Tariffs can work, but only if they're a piece of a much bigger puzzle. Without that bigger vision, they're more like a band-aid than a cure. So, will Trump's tariff-heavy economy flourish or fail? Right now, it's balancing on a knife's edge. Some industries are seeing growth. Some jobs are returning. But consumers are paying more. Global partners are pushing back, and cracks are forming in the foundation. The success or failure of this strategy won't just depend on tariffs. It will depend on whether the US government can deliver a cohesive economic plan, invest in the future, and rebuild trust at home and abroad. If it does, Trump's vision may become a new blueprint for economic independence. If not, it could lead to inflation, stagnation, and deeper divides in the global economy. Only time will tell. What do you think? Are Trump's tariffs a smart economic move or a dangerous gamble? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. And remember, in today's economy, every policy comes with a price.